We want to find the value of the pronumeral in each of the following. Now in this case, we're finding angles every time. With respect to this angle, this side is the opposite, and this side is the hypotenuse. So if we use the mnemonic, so car toa, we know that it's opposite and hypotenuse, so we must be using the sine. The sine of the angle, which in this case is x, is equal to the length of the opposite divided by the length of the hypotenuse. Now when you're finding an angle, I want you to always write down this next line. X is inverse sine, which you write like this, of 13 over 20. And that tells you exactly what to type in to the calculator. If we go back to main, now to find the inverse sine, you have to go to the trig just here, and you type that in. It's exactly like you've written it down, and in fact if you use the fraction template, you can write it down exactly like this, and then we find it's 40.5 degrees, which will give to just the 1 decimal place. So coming to part B over here, if this is the angle, this one is the adjacent, this one is the opposite, so car toa, opposite and adjacent, that means we're using tangent. So the tangent of x is equal to the length of the opposite over the length of the adjacent. And then write that line down again, so it's going to be the inverse tan of 15 over 12. But this time I'm going to use an E activity to do that. So let's go to my E activities, and we're using the tan this time, so we'll go for this one here. And notice how we've got tan minus 1 O over A just here. So we're finding the angle. We know that the opposite is 15, and we know the adjacent is 12, and then just click on the solve, and we get 51.3 degrees if we go to 1 decimal place. So let's do this last one. This is the hypotenuse, this is the adjacent, so car toa, adjacent and hypotenuse is with the cosine just here, CAH. So the cosine of the angle is equal to the adjacent, the length of the adjacent, over the length of the hypotenuse. So x is going to be the inverse cosine of 10 over 14. Always write this line down, and then it reminds you that if you're just calculating in main, you then go to the keyboard, trig, you find the inverse cosine button, fraction, we'll do 10 over 14, and that gives me 44.4 degrees. Correct to 1 decimal place.